So Khamzat Chimaev just called out Conor McGregor. Guys, Conor McGregor to a boxing match in a Zuffa arena. Yes, guys, this happened. And we're upon UFC 328 that's going to happen this weekend. That's going to show Khamzat Chimaev taking on Sean Strickland. But instead of talking about that matchup, he's talking about Conor McGregor, about boxing Conor McGregor. Not MMA, an actual boxing match in a Zuffa arena. Guys, let's get to it. Welcome back. Welcome to Duality 7X. I'm your host, Shiraz. Guys, this is insane. Khamzat Chimaev wants to fight Conor McGregor in a boxing fight. He's got a lot of respect for Conor McGregor. And if this actually happens, if this actually goes down, this might be the moment that could flip Zuffa Boxing and make it realer than real. Not that Zuffa isn't real, but this could flip the script for Zuffa Boxing, guys, and put it on the map. I mean, yeah, you had Conor Ben. He fought a one-fight deal, but nothing would get the juices flowing like a Conor McGregor and Khamzat Chimaev fight. But guys, let's talk about that. Welcome, welcome, welcome again, guys. Welcome to all those who are coming in right now. And you know what? I love doing this, man, because, you know, these are the kind of things, these aren't just storylines. These are the kind of things that could actually come to fruition. I mean, Khamzat Chimaev just talked about this. I'm pretty sure Conor McGregor would love this. Now, on the surface, this seems like another call out, right? Just another big name, calling out another big name. And, you know, we're talking big money here, of course. Nothing new, right? Right? Not exactly. Not exactly. So let me explain. Because this one has got some merit, some value proposition slandered all over it, guys. And this tells you a lot more about the UFC and what fighters like Khamzat Chimaev really want right now. And it's not just him. There's a lot of fighters that would definitely follow suit. And let me explain. So, like, just think about this for a second. This isn't just about fighting Conor McGregor, okay? Khamzat Chimaev can fight anybody. If it was his way, he'd fight Islam. He'd fight Carlos Prates. He'd fight, you know, Carlos Ulberg. I mean, he'll fight anybody. But you got to, first of all, let's just look at the stats for a second. Like Khamzat Chimaev, okay, he's undefeated. He's 15-0. He's got a perfect 9-0 record in the UFC. And he's getting ready for probably one of the biggest fights of his UFC career happening this weekend. And he's a current middleweight champion, okay? And he's closing in on his first title defense. I mean, it's been 9 months since he fought Dricus du Plessis for the belt, and he's ready to go at it again. And in between that time, I mean, 9 months is a long time, but he's been training, and he's been waiting for his next opponent. Now you have a guy like Sean Strickland. Sean is a very controversial figure. He's 30-7. Okay, I mean, but Khamzat is a little bit, I don't know. I mean, both of these guys have their own fighting styles. They're both unique. And this is not just about defending the belt for Khamzat. It's more about the money. Okay, and I'll explain. Because Khamzat, yeah, legacy is important. Record's important. You know, building an unbelievable career and having that is all important. But Khamzat's all about the Benjamins, baby. And he loves the money. And look, he's not about to leave the UFC. He's not. And he doesn't want to chase boxing full time. But if Zuffa Boxing opens the door, right, then he wants Conor McGregor. Because you have to understand, Zuffa is run and controlled by Dana White. And it's a very similar, it's going to be a very similar type of system, self-contained, its own ecosystem, very similar to the UFC. And you have Dana White. Khamzat likes Dana. Dana likes Chimaev. Both of these guys have a great working relationship. And look, let's be honest, guys. This isn't just some random just call out or random things that a guy like Khamzat would say. You have to understand, when it comes to the business side of things, Conor McGregor is still the biggest name in combat sports. He brings in all the dough, guys. We've already seen Conor McGregor crossover once back in 2017 against Floyd Money Mayweather, and he did great. He actually fought very, very well. Okay, to everyone's surprise, but at that point everything changed. Okay, at that point it showed how fighters can potentially advance financially without having to stick to their own comforts, their own game, their own craft. And Khamzat admitted it himself. I mean, like, just think about it. You know, seeing Conor McGregor knocking out Jose Aldo in like 13 seconds and hearing how much money he made by just knocking somebody out within that short little time frame, quicker than you running to the fridge and grabbing a drink. That's what pushed him toward MMA. So now years later, talking about Khamzat, years later, Khamzat is not just chasing legacy. He knows he's going to get the legacy. That's without a question. This guy's a future Hall of Famer. But right now, Khamzat's chasing the same opportunity. He's trying to chase the same opportunity like Conor McGregor and certain individuals have. He wants the big payday. And this is more about the leverage too, guys, all right? We're talking about money, we're talking about leverage, we're talking about power, okay? And this is what should really get things cooking for a lot of folks. I mean, if you find this stuff interesting, then you'll understand that this isn't necessarily all about boxing. This is about leverage, okay? And I say it time and time again. If you guys know anything about my videos, I always say this: leverage equals money. And when you have a champion, when you've got a fighter like Khamzat talking about money fights outside of the world of UFC or the structure of UFC, essentially what Khamzat's trying to do is he's sending a message, not just to Conor McGregor. He's sending a message, a radio signal to anyone who's got their antennas up and it catches a signal. But to the UFC, he's essentially saying that I'll defend my belt, I'll defend it well, but you guys know my value and I'm ready to fight anyone and anybody in any type of combat so long as it's a UFC controlled environment, such as Zuffa Boxing. And in today's fight game, guys, that matters more than ever, because that's what people are chasing. That's what people want. So this I mean, this could only make Dana White happier. Okay, definitely puts a smile on Dana White, because Dana White's face, because Dana knows that Chimaev is not leaving. All right, and there's a lot of guys out there who want a piece of Chimaev, and they like in a sense that they want him on their roster. But while Dana knows this, I think this is the part where a lot of people are missing, because if the UFC actually wants to make this happen, if they actually buy into this, like if there's an actual call or discussion being that might have taken place between, you know, Dana, his crew, his team, and Khamzat Chimaev and his team, then there's a strong likelihood that something like this could potentially happen. These are the kind of things that actually excite Dana, right? Because Zuffa Boxing, look, like they've been talking about this for years, but it just launched recently, and not even in a real way yet, but it's there. The presence is there. People can feel their presence. Now, yes, Conor Ben just recently fought, but it didn't really put Zuffa on the limelight. When you have an undefeated champion like Chimaev, who's 15-0, all right, 9-0 in the UFC, and then you got the biggest star in combat sports, let's be real, guys, that's Conor McGregor. That's not just a fight. That's a business move. That's a business move. A massive business move. All right? That's like saying Khamzat Chimaev is going to take on Floyd Money Mayweather or Manny Pacquiao. That's the equivalence of what we're trying to talk about here. But the good thing is, this fight would keep everything in-house. There's no outside promoters, no split negotiations. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that Dana White likes. You know, just UFC control in a boxing format under the umbrella of Zuffa Boxing under TKO and UFC. But I mean, if this works, this, I believe, guys, could open up the door for more crossover fights under the Zuffa brand. Just think about it. You've got a lot of unbelievable superstar, talented UFC, MMA fighters, all represented by the UFC, who are all hungry to make a little bit more money. And if you could bring some of those guys into the fold of Zuffa, under the Zuffa brand in a boxing fight, why not? You could even do three rounds, three-minute rounds. I mean, if they buy into this, and if Khamzat takes this, and if he loses his boxing fight, I mean, it's not going to hurt his MMA record, but it certainly will affect his aura. And he may not be the big prize anymore. But for Conor, if Conor takes on this fight, and if Conor wins, that would explode his career beyond proportions that he's never seen before. But this fight could be really dangerous because he'd be fighting a younger, bigger, and undefeated champion. Although he's undefeated in MMA, boxing, I mean, still, right? He's still dangerous. And I mean, the UFC is just going to have to try to figure things out. They're going to have to try to balance this marriage, so to speak, because look, bottom line is Khamzat Chimaev is still the middleweight champion of the world. He hasn't even defended his belt just yet. That's going to happen this weekend against a very crazy mofo by the name of Sean Strickland. So the question that is circulating out there, a lot of people are talking about this, is that do you build this division, right? Do you build the division, or do you talk about just chasing the dollars right now? Because as far as we know, the UFC has accommodated Khamzat in a lot of ways. They've actually built a lot of their business and the division around Chimaev. Okay? He's the top draw right now. I don't know. He might actually be like the Roman Reigns of UFC, like how Roman Reigns is to the WWE. But in my opinion, it plays out in a few different ways, right? Because nothing happens. This is just noise, just rhetoric, just talk, fighters saying what they say, and it just falls on deaf ears. Great to talk about, but nothing's going to happen. That's A. B, Zuffa Boxing takes it seriously, and it launches with the headline Chimaev versus McGregor, and that'll explode the industry, guys. And C, which could probably be the most realistic, the UFC uses this news as leverage potentially to keep both guys active and relevant without really wholeheartedly fully committing to a fight. But at least they have this. They can shelf it. They can work it and build on its hype. Because anything even having to do remotely with Conor McGregor is good for business. That's just the way it is, guys. Conor brings in the hype. He brings in the fanfare. He brings the controversy, and all of that means big, big dollars. So this moment, like, Khamzat is very strategic. Like, I mean, he is such a brilliant man. For him to do this, to say this, that changes the whole fight game as we know it, guys. I mean, just look at the conversations that are happening because of what Khamzat said. And a lot of fighters are thinking the same. They're thinking along the same way as Khamzat. This is what they want. They're not just chasing the hardware. They're not just chasing the gold anymore. I mean, the gold brings a lot of prestige to your name, your credibility, your legacy, but they're chasing the dollars, guys. I mean, money, timing, the opportunities outside of the cage. I mean, just look at Conor Benn signs with Zuffa and signs a $15 million deal to fight one fight. Changed his life in generations to come forever. And then when you got Khamzat Chimaev, who's undefeated, who's still a champion, and he's still building his legacy, but he is the top draw. He is the top dog right now, and everyone knows it. I mean, this could be the biggest fight that might potentially happen. I mean, Conor McGregor has been saying a lot of stuff, on social media, on various platforms. But Conor's not talking about, I mean, Conor's talking about wanting to come back into the folds of the UFC, but he's not talking about a belt or winning the championship. He's done it. He's been there, done it. He doesn't need titles right now. He just wants bigger paydays. And so does Khamzat Chimaev. So calling out Conor McGregor was a brilliant strategic move on behalf of Khamzat Chimaev. It's calculated. He knew exactly what he's doing. And it's very, very, very smart. Khamzat Chimaev is not a guy to be played with. But this could be the glimpse. This could be the glimpse into the future of combat sports as we know it, guys. Because if Zuffa, as we know, Zuffa is growing, it's evolving, and as it starts to grow and evolve over time, conversations like this start to become more real. Because fights like this, they're not just going to be rare anymore, they're going to actually happen. Things are going to come to fruition. That's the plan. That's what they're trying to execute. That's what they're trying to make happen. And guys, don't be fooled. I mean, you also have Jake Paul, who's been talking a lot about wanting to fight an MMA fight. He actually wants to fight Nate Diaz in an MMA fight. So I don't know. He must be training or something, because that's crazy. But anyways, guys, that's a fight game. The fight game is just crazy as it is, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Put your thoughts and comments below. Do you think Khamzat Chimaev should box Conor McGregor? Or do you think Khamzat should just focus on defending his UFC title? I mean, he's got a big fight ahead of him right now this weekend against Sean Strickland. But if he wins against Sean Strickland, do you think that should open the runway for him to take on a fight like this, especially in boxing against Conor McGregor? Anyways, guys, I want to hear your thoughts and comments below, guys. Please smash a like and subscribe. Hit the notifications so you guys never miss a beat. Check out our sponsors here. Check out NordVPN. Check out Lion Metals. If you guys want to know more about copper bullion, if you guys are interested, we've got a big promotion right now with copper bullion, with Lion Metals. That's copper bullion. They're selling a 1 kilogram bar for $199.99. But if you guys are interested, just email me at duality7x@gmail.com, and I'd be more than happy to provide you with the details. Aside from that, guys, a pleasure was all mine. I look forward to catching you guys in tomorrow's video.